joining us today on April 30th. Um, my name is Albert Jahami. I am part of the City of San Jose's Information Technology Department. Um, Khalid is running just a few minutes late, so he sends his regards and we'll be kicking off here. Um, like I said, introduce yourselves in the chat. This is all about a space of building community across our government partners, our government agencies, so that we can learn and grow together in this constantly evolving technology space. We got a few announcements that we'll walk through. Then I'm going to pass it over to some really exciting work that's going on in our procurement committee with Albie and Ryan from San Jose. And then we're going to just go through some committee updates and we'll be on our way. Let's move on to the next slide. So we can keep it pushing. Yeah. So I just want to highlight, right, for those that are brand new to the coalition, um, we cover the end-to-end of how agencies are thinking about and deploying artificial intelligence into their agency. This is all by government, for government. We've got a variety of different partners from civil society and industry helping us out, but at its core, this is a space for us to talk shop and share our work so that we can learn and grow together. There's a variety of different places that you can plug in. And I invite you, if you or someone else is interested, we'll drop the registration link in the chat. You can see on there how you can register for any of the committees that you want, how you can get the calendar invites for those and be a part of that community. We have our readiness and adoption committee for those that are just getting started and looking for a place to learn the ropes. I highly recommend you go there. It's also building out some great educational material for our coalition agencies. We've got a new working committee on data governance. How do you build your data to make sure that it's ready for AI and for working across agencies? Procurement, which we're going to hear a little bit more from in a minute, all around how do we purchase and actually buy the technologies that we want to use in a way that makes sense for our agencies. Industry relations, all about bringing in our industry partners, really the backbone of building and developing the tools. Our use cases, our agencies that are actually applying the tools and figuring out how we can copy the best in class of what other agencies are doing. And then, of course, community engagement, right? At the end of the day, we're all here about serving our communities and finding out ways that we can bring our communities along for the innovation that we're doing is essential. So I just show this to show if you're just getting started here, we welcome you. There's a bunch of different places to plug in, a bunch of different places to get started. I'm going to ask if Angela or maybe someone else, if you're able to drop the registration link in the chat, great to get that in there. And with that, we'll move on to the next slide. So, like I mentioned, there are two ways to get any of those invites and that information that you need. The first one is you can go to our Google Calendar. It's got all the invites. You can download them there. Or on our registration form, you can just download the calendar invites from there. Both are kept up to date by our team. But we ask, you download them there. You'll be able to get the invites. Let's move on to the next slide. Awesome. So first announcement here, and I want to give a huge shout out to the team, especially Layla and Chelsea and others for putting this together. Our April newsletter is out. So the coalition has our monthly newsletter featuring some of the most interesting updates we're seeing around not just the coalition, but around the national and international conversation more broadly around AI. It's a great place to stay in the loop. We offer, connect y'all with other different places that you might want to learn something new. Highly recommend you check it out. We sent it out over in an email. Thank you, Marty. And it's a great place to just kind of get started. One thing that I do want to shout out, if you're feeling like you see this newsletter and you're thinking, dang, I really wish this other article was in there, or this other news is really interesting and I don't see that there. What's going on? We are actively looking for folks who can contribute or just even just want to send us some news that they're seeing. Um, we've got a place for y'all to submit your ideas, whether it be articles that you want to write, articles that you want to share, other information. Um, Submit it there, right? Our job is not to just share coalition materials. Our job is to point people to the other great work that's happening outside the coalition so that we can learn together. So, with that, I'm going to pass it off to Layla for some big news around the summit.
Awesome. Thank you, Albert. Hi, everyone. I'm Layla Doty. I'm on the privacy and AI team at San Jose. And we are so excited to share that registration for the 2025 GovAI Coalition Summit is live. You can register using that link that Albert just shared in the chat. The summit, again, is going to be taking place this November. And we hope to see all of you there. Next slide has a little bit more information about the summit. And I think I'm hearing some feedback, Albert. I don't know if you want to go on mute. Okay, cool. So the summit is going to be in November, like I shared. The 5th and 6th are going to be the formal conference, and the 7th is going to be that government-only town hall. For the summit itself, for the first 2 days, you can expect keynotes, panels, workshops. We got feedback from folks from last year that people really want to see technical deep dives, hands-on workshops. So you can expect a lot of that content at this upcoming summit. And that town hall, again, is going to be closed door government only so that we can talk shop with our colleagues who work at public agencies. It's going to be at the same location in downtown San Jose at the convention center. And our partners at GovTech, who are helping us put this whole conference on, they're currently working to negotiate hotel block rates. That's still being finalized, but right now we can share that those rates are going to range from $199 to $275 a night. And once we have that final number, we will be sure to share that out with everyone. So that's all for the summit right now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And there's more information in the newsletter as well on who exactly to contact, but feel free to reach out if anything comes up. And so that concludes the announcement portion of our meeting. In just a second, we're going to pass it off to Albie and Ryan from San Jose to share about a really exciting cooperative procurement opportunity. But first, I want to call up Emily Royal from San Antonio, who is a board advisor for the procurement committee and is going to share some framing remarks for the presentation that you're about to see. So Emily, I will pass it over to you.
Thanks, Layla. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to kind of frame this initiative and announce the coming of this new initiative to the coalition. One of the biggest goals of the cooperative purchasing, or now the procurement committee this year, is to explore opportunities to pool our membership's purchasing power in order to drive responsible AI practices in industry. And cooperative purchasing, where agencies can share contracts, is a powerful vehicle to help us achieve this aim and reduce the overall cost of leveraging AI technology in our organizations. The goal is to build cooperative contracts for AI systems that are widely acceptable and whose terms reflect our coalition's values. So I'm excited to announce that we have a partnership with the City of San Jose's procurement office that you're going to hear from. And we've taken the first steps towards building GovAI's first ever shareable contract. This is a proof of concept, but if proven successful, will expand to other AI use cases that are of highest demand to our members in the organization. So quickly, what does that mean for you? If you're a municipality, it means you can use the contract in your own organization and trust that its terms reflect the values of GovAI and responsible practices for AI use. We also invite interested public agencies to contribute to building preferred terms and conditions that would make this contract highly usable in your own organization. If you're in academia, we invite you to collaborate with us to define, what some of those preferred requirements would be for different AI use cases, and really find an avenue to apply some of your evidence-based research towards real procurement outcomes that impact local governments at scale. And finally, if you're a vendor, we think this will significantly ease the process of bringing high quality AI products to the government market, and really intend to set clear terms and offer a pathway to success through the use of our AI fact sheet. So after today's presentation, we'll share a survey where you can contribute your perspectives, whether you're a vendor in academia or a city, and volunteer even to participate in the process of building this shareable contract. I definitely want to thank Kimberly Barnard, who's the now chair of the procurement committee, of course, Layla and Albert, and the procurement committee as a whole, and San Jose's procurement team for definitely being our guinea pigs and willing to really step out and initiate this with their own efforts and creativity. So this is going to rock. I'm really excited, and I'll pass it over to Albie to talk more about what the opportunity is and what our use case is. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Emily, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Albie Udom. I am the Deputy Director of Finance and Chief Procurement Officer for the City of San Jose. And I am very excited that we are taking a stab at this. Emily mentioned that we're the guinea pig. We'd love to be the guinea pig on this. And we're very excited about what's going to come out of this. And, the more I think about it, the more excited I get. First of all, we're going to come out with something that really captures a lot of input from the industry, from public procurement people, and then so we can create a set of documents, templates, processes that people can use, but also we'll be able to leverage the outcome of this to make life easier. So you will hear more about it. I will pass it to my colleague, Ryan, who will talk about the technical details of this. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about our timeline on this. So with that, Ryan.
Thanks, Albie. So my name is Ryan Maher. I'm a senior analyst here at the city. I'm going to be working on the development of the solicitation. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of baseline for what we're actually going to go out and procure. We're still working on the details of everything, but I do want to kind of provide a vision for what we're trying to achieve. So in short, what the solicitation is going to be for is it's going to be for a digital twin. It's going to be a 3-package solicitation, wherein we'll have a package for data cleanup. We're going to have a package for predictive analytics, and then business automation tools. We've already kind of identified in that some requirements that we know is going to need to be included with the scope and the solicitation itself. So I'm going to go a little bit into those. First of all, general requirements, something that's going to apply to all packages. Things like cybersecurity requirements, PII, and of course the AI requirements that was developed pretty heavily by the GovAI Coalition. The solutions that we're looking for things that are cloud-based. And of course, we want all of the basic cybersecurity and access control built into that. We're also looking for implementation, training, and maintenance all to be included across all the packages, as well as some best-in-class service levels. So moving into the first package, which is data cleaning and transformation tool. Now, I do want to say any entities that are going to be interested in this, but the intention is that you'll be able to select vendors who apply to 1, 2, or all 3 of the packages, depending on what your needs are and what they're able to provide. So there will be vendors who potentially just offer a standalone data cleaning tool. What we're looking for here is essentially something that can take various types of data and turn it into some type of workable format using generative AI to help with help with that process. Some of the examples that we're looking at is transportation and environmental data. This could also be used for things for your parks departments or various other municipal departments specifically, not just for, we're looking at this as a top-down version, but it could be used on any of those types of data. We also want, especially in this one, personnel training for AI readiness and how the AI actually interacts with the data that it's pulling from the entity. So that way we're all well aware and trained on that. Moving down to our next package, package 2 is going to be the predictive analytics. This is where we want it to ideally taking the data that's been cleaned, right? And make predictions based on that information gathered. We're looking to, provide some use cases in the solicitation documents, I believe. So if there's specific ideas that you'd like to be able to utilize this technology for, that would be something absolutely to provide us feedback on that form for. That's going to help give us kind of a footing on where the solicitation needs to go. And we want to make sure that this predictive analytics platform is also able to integrate with various other technologies that entities might be able to use. So we do want to find things that have a vast integration with different services. We can go ahead and then package 3, kind of the last piece of this is going to be the business automation. Now this, in the flow, right, in the workflow, this will take that predictive analytics and help to have the technology actually make actions and decisions based off of it. Now, if an entity decided to purchase, one of these, obviously the integration is not going to be there. Hopefully there's data that can be utilized already existing in an entity to create those workflows. But we are looking for something in this regard that's low code, no code, so that it can be utilized by a wide user base. This way, people who aren't, the most technical people in your, I'll keep going back to the parks department, right, or the library, can still utilize this technology and help improve government processes. Finally, when used all together, our desired outcome is going to be a digital twin. The idea here is that it models the current state of the entity and it's going to update in real time, allowing us to see what's going on for us within the city, and even simulate potential changes or scenarios to processes or real world situations. This could potentially allow us to do things like predict how weather will impact the needs for landscape maintenance and parks. I don't know why I have parks stuck on my brain today, but I definitely do. Things like this, right? Or if we decide to make a change to our our IT infrastructure, how might that impact one of the other departments that we work with? Overall, the idea here is that we're able to improve responsiveness of our services that we provide the public, and as well as just generally our operations. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Albie to discuss timeline.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And I just want to say, if anybody has any questions so far, please pop them in the chat. I see there's some stuff in the chat already. Layla's capturing some stuff, so we'd be happy to address any questions in the time that we have available here. So, okay, before I get into the timeline, I just want to reconfirm what Ryan said. So there are 3 packages. The intent here is to award multi-packages. So maybe award multi-vendor, maybe three, four per package, so people can select whatever vendor they want. We're also going to be evaluating fully, so this is not a pre-qualification. So you can actually, depending on if you're a public entity, depending on your entity's requirement, you can select any one of the vendors and go to work with them. You don't have to do, you may not be required to do another mini solicitation within this. So that's kind of just putting a pause on that. Okay, so going to our timeline, we put together a timeline here based primarily on what we do here in San Jose. And then given that we know that this is multi-jurisdictional and there's going to be stakeholders from so many different jurisdictions, we padded that a little bit just to make sure that we don't run out of time trying to get to the end of it. Ryan and I have looked at this over and over, and we think that it's a decent enough timeline. One of the things that can impact it, as you all know, if you're in procurement, is getting information from stakeholders and people. So in order to try and stay within this timeline, we will ask if anybody had any questions, any comments, any issues. If we ask for anything from you, please, if you can help us by being very responsive, that will be really helpful. So getting into this, on April 10th, we did a presentation to the GovAI Coalition Procurement Committee. It was quite well received. And so we took what we learned from that, and now we're here presenting to the full meeting. Like Ryan said, we've already started working on the scope. After today, we're going to embark on what we've called the roadshow. We have 2 months of that where we're actually reaching out to people, trying to get your input on that, any unique requirements that you may have, any things you want us to put in the solicitation to make it easy enough for you to be able to adopt it, to leverage it. We're also going to be looking for people that will be able to serve as SMEs in putting the solicitation together, and also being evaluators. So we're kind of dubbing the period from tomorrow up to June 30th as the roadshow to get feedback from coalition members. From June 30th to about July 18th, we're going to be finalizing, distilling all that information, trying to put it together into the solicitation. We hope to finalize the solicitation by middle of July, and we are targeting a release date of July 23rd. The reason we are targeting this date is that the NIGP conference kicks off the week after, and we want to be sure that this is on the street. This has been, seen by people. It's on the street, and we can market it at NIGP conference. So, next slide. So once it's been released, this is the timeline for the post-solicitation release. Because of the nature of this, and we want to make sure that people really know about it, and we want to capture everything, we're going to be holding a pre-proposal conference. Right now, the date is August 18th. That's the date that we have for that. It's going to be held, it's going to be a hybrid conference here in San Jose, but we're going to provide Zoom links so people can chime in with their questions, listen and chime in with their questions. Everything will be recorded, and we'll, of course, post it. August 27th, we're hoping to have the deadline for the pre-proposal questions and objections. By September 5th, we won't be able to release those to everybody, so people can start, vendors can start putting their proposals together. The deadline for submission of proposals is September 19th. And again, supplier partners can submit for one package, all 3 packages, or 2 packages. Ideally, it would be great if we can award to partners that can provide services for all 3 packages. That will be great, and they may have to achieve that either by JV scenario or prime sub scenario. But if a supplier is very strong in package B, for instance, and they don't care about the other packages, they can still submit for just package B. So we're allowing from September 19th, which is the deadline, up to end of October for the evaluation to be completed. And again, this is taking into account that there's going to be stakeholders from outside of San Jose that will be involved in the evaluation. If you've ever coordinated a calendar for an evaluation, you know that the logistics are really challenging. So just to make sure that everything goes through, the evaluation is going to consist of both evaluating the package as it is, scoring it among according to the template. We're going to have demos or interviews with the proposers, and then the evaluation panel will rank everybody before we go ahead and award. So by November 3rd, we're hoping to issue a notice of intent to award to all the suppliers that were selected. So if we selected 3 for package A, 3 for package B, we will issue notice of intent about all of that to everybody. In San Jose, there is a 10-day protest period, which we have to abide by. That we're hoping by November 18th to go to City Council to award get the multi contracts awarded with contract execution by middle of December. So once the contract's executed, any public entity that wants to use it can then go ahead and start using the contract to engage with the vendors that suppliers that I have to go away from vendor suppliers that were awarded. And that's kind of the timeline that we have. We've looked at it. We think it's a doable timeline. I'd love to get comments from people as to what they think. Next slide. Okay. So what is it for you? What do we need you to do? We need you to please start engaging with us, because we want to make sure that these contracts, when they're awarded, that people can use it, you can use it, and the final product will be that best-in-class thing that future procurements can work off. So engage with us, give us your comments, give us your questions. We'll deal with that. We've already got about I think this was mentioned in the newsletter, last newsletter. We've already got about 3 people ask questions about it. So that's great. Please keep them coming. Also, go back, share this with your leadership, agencies leadership and stakeholders to start getting buy-in. And then quite importantly, there's a survey, link for a survey there. Click on it, complete the survey. We would love to hear from you. If you want to meet with Ryan and I, please let us know. We will make time out to meet with you to get any comment, any questions that you want. This is the time for us to be able to do that before the solicitation is released, before it is finalized and released. So we'd be very, very happy to hear from you so we can take your point of view into account. I don't think that's about it for us. Next up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Albie and Ryan, for this presentation. Super, super exciting stuff. We might have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Chelsea, I think we can go back to the last slide for just a second. Albie and Ryan, we have a question in the chat about how this process will work across county, state, federal processes. I don't know if you have anything you can share about your thinking there.
Yes. So, like I said, this is based on, the process is based on the City of San Jose process, but it's not totally exclusive. So if your agency has a different process, if your agency has any unique requirements, you can let us know that. The other thing you can also do is with the final product, when you get your, when the contract is ready, you can, if you want to engage with any particular contractor, you can slap an appendix or addendum to it that captures whatever terms, specific terms you have with that particular supplier, and go with that.
Awesome. And then I think one final question, which maybe can clear up any confusion that folks might have who are new to the world of cooperatives, myself included. We have a question in the chat. So will this be a cooperative agreement? And what exactly does that mean? How does the shareable language and the contract work into there?
Absolutely. That's a very great question. And thank you very much for whoever put that out. I should have talked about cooperative agreements initially. So cooperative contracts are contracts where multiple public agencies can use it. And most, if not all, public agencies have provisions in their governing regulations that allows you to bypass competitive solicitation if another public agency has perform that competitive solicitation. You can bypass, you don't have to do your own solicitation. You can rely on the other agency's solicitation and just kind of use the result of the procurement. So that's what it is. This is something that we're going to be doing, but every other agency can adopt it if they want. This is why we think it's important for you to be able to chime in and say, hey, you know what? My agency requires X for us to be able to use a cooperative contract. So can you please try to include that, or at least if that can come in?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Albie, Ryan, Emily, for that presentation. Very, very exciting. And everyone, if you could please complete that survey that we shared in the chat, that feedback will be really invaluable as we work towards finalizing that RFP. All right, I think we're going to move on to committee updates now. So Angela, pass it to you.
Thanks, Layla. And thank you all again for that wonderful presentation. We've sent the link back in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Meg and Liz for updates for the Community Engagement Committee. All right, Meg, are you here? Oh, I see, sorry, it's Liz. All right, Liz.
Hi, Angela. Sorry about that. I'm sorry to say I had some technology difficulties turning on my camera. But on behalf of Meg and myself, thank you everyone who attended the very first committee meeting we held on April 17th. We had a really great discussion on what it means to engage our local communities on our AI use. For those who attended, you already know this, but based on the priorities you see on this slide right here, we developed our mission statement, and we also talked about next steps for our group. So our next meeting is going to be May 18th. What we're going to do is based on the survey that we sent out to people who participated in the meeting, but also those who couldn't attend, asking what their priorities were from this list. We're going to be having a presentation from someone who's doing really great work right now on engaging their community on their agency's use of AI. And we're also going to be working on developing leadership talking points. So for those who didn't attend the meeting, something very important for our group is making sure that leadership is on board, not just with engaging the public in general, but specifically why it's so important to engage leadership, why we need to go out there as agencies to talk to the community about how we're using AI. So we're going to be splitting the meeting up into a couple of sections. First, learning from others, some great examples that we can all follow, but then also developing those leadership talking points. Finally, I'm really excited if you look at that last priority of matchmaking government agencies with our partners in academia and civil society. Thanks to the great work of Meg, we had a lot of interest in that. She has identified several academics who want to work with each of us to help develop and go out and engage our communities on AI. So really excited about that. Looking forward to the meeting on May 18th. If you are getting our emails, but you haven't been getting the calendar invites, please let us know. We know that's a problem for a couple of people, and we'll reach out, make sure you have those meeting invites. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. I'm going to go ahead and do the next slide, Procurement Committee. Awesome. Passing it off to Kim for updates. Emily?
Yeah, I'm going to sub in for Kim. Sorry, everybody. You guys are hearing a lot from me today. Yeah, just highlighting a couple additional items other than, of course, the first shareable contract initiative that we're working on. Again, I just want to plug the survey. Please do fill that out. That is kind of the first point of contact for you to influence how we build that contract in a way that we hope will maximize uptake across various different types of agencies, including local and county. And then I wanted to touch base and give an update on our GovAI Contract Hub. Again, this is a place where we are storing and making accessible contracts from other jurisdictions and public agencies for AI use cases. We make that available to our membership, and we are constantly in the process of evaluating and fielding contracts in the field for AI to make them available to you. So currently we've got 74 shareable contracts live on the hub. There are 90 in our backlog, which is really fun, but there's a lot additionally for us to review and evaluate. We've been tracking engagements with the hub, and we had about 283 folks engage in it in March, and we can see that a lot of folks are repeat users, which is really exciting because that means people are finding value in the information that's available there. We also have a volunteer group, which is actively working to build criteria and a robust workflow for how we continue to decide what kinds of contracts we want to put on the hub, and make sure that they're curated and reflect responsible AI practices for different types of use cases. So all really great work. We invite you to come join the procurement committee if any of this resonates with you. We have informational sessions, and then we have a volunteer group that is really doing a lot of hands-on and applied work to build out all of these new resources for GovAI. So thanks, everybody.
So thank you, Emily, for the update. Passing it off to Rich and Sahar for readiness and adoption. And I believe Sabra, let me know if there's technical issues here. But Rich, sorry, I don't think I can hear you. I can see your mouth moving.
There we go. I think he just got off mute. Oh yeah. No, I can't hear you, Rich. I'm sorry. No worries. I can if Saber's on, or if Sayer's on, if they want to provide any updates. And if not, Rich, I can start talking on the updates, and if you're able to, on the mic, feel free to just jump in. So we are just finishing up clearance to get our first live training out, which is AI for fire and fire public safety. Really excited about that. Huge shout out to Jim and Chelsea and the team for putting that together. It's gonna go live I think this week. Alongside, we've got a number of trainings in progress. So we've got part 2 of that fire training. We've got a CISO 101 that we're just starting up with some folks from Bloomberg. We've got deepfake security that is in the works and published shortly. We've got elected officials 101, and we've got some general staff upskilling, all little working groups that are building off of the broader committee that we have in readiness and adoption. If you're interested in contributing to any of these educations that we are putting together, or you'd just like to sit in, listen, and provide feedback on the courses that we're building out, join us in our meetings. We meet twice a month, first and third Wednesday of the month. And yeah, Dom, I'll drop a link in the chat to what our deepfake security looks like right now. It's like a FYI for how staff should be prepared on like deepfake scams and solicitations. We have one-on-one adoption support with Sayer that folks can sign up with and get some feedback in the committee meetings themselves if we have time at the end. And last but not least, we are in the final stretches of going live on our online training hub. So we've got the YouTube and the recordings there, but we are also working with Public Sector Network, or PSN, to put it all of our trainings in a little hub, so that way it's easy for folks to access and go on. It's free. Everyone will be able to join it. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but not on Facebook. So excited to have that go live in the next month. Rich, can I get a thumbs up? Did I miss anything? Oh, perfect. Awesome. All right. I'll pass it back to you, Angela.
Awesome. Thanks, Albert. Passing it off to Jamie to kick off for the Use Cases Committee.
Thank you, Angela, and great job, Albert. Y'all, the work that's being done right now is just so awesome. I'm so excited about these updates that I'm getting. And I just really quickly want to say at the Use Cases Committee, we have a lot of really great things in the works. Use cases around fire prevention, grant applications, looking to continue our work with translations and potential end-to-end implementation for translation service. So lots of really great things. We're forming a lot of really great partnerships. I'll turn it over to my wonderful new colleagues here at the Use Cases Committee, the chairs, Nicole and Hemant, but really encourage you all, if you're interested at all, sign up. We're doing some really great things, and I'll pass it off to you, Nicole.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. All right, everyone. So our next first meeting is May 20th, and that'll be with Hemant and trying to develop the plug and play system. Our next agency/vendor demos are going to start on June 3rd. And, you know, for those of you who have been part of the use cases, or even the use cases working group that we had, we would showcase monthly, you know, AI use cases, projects that were both, you know, agency led or agency plus the private sector led, or we would just have some demonstrations directly from private sector vendors. So I'll be heading that portion up of our use cases, and then we're going to anticipate to hold one very specific deep dive session, still to be determined on what that is. If you do have any ideas, or you're an agency that wants to demo a particular use case, reach out to me directly, and we can get that scheduled. I'm not sure if Hemant, are you on?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, go for it. So you can do your piece of it.
Thanks, Nicole. So piggybacking off of what Nicole said, if you guys have any thoughts or ideas on plug and play systems, by that I mean a use case where we can create an AI tool or a process which can be literally, with slight modification, be applied across multiple agencies, please let me know, or let Jamie or Nicole know, because I think part of what my goal is before May 20th is to at least formulate a strategy of how we go about doing it. And I certainly can provide some guidance and maybe invite some partners that might be able to help us with little effort from their side. So again, I look forward to some input from you guys over the next few days before 20th. And as for the modular step-by-step implementation, I think one of the things that Nicole shared in her approach of making use cases more extendable is we have been working on use case for the last 1 year. Maybe some of you have an idea of how can we now document the step-by-step process from source to implementation, right? From the idea, concept to procurement. And I think that will be a nice document that we can then provide to other agencies who might be looking for that, not plug and play, but a step-by-step guide for implementing a use case in their city or county. So again, I look forward to some feedback from you guys, and I'm really excited to work with you on this. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Hemant. Really excited for all the Use Cases Committee. Next slide, please. This is industry relations. I'll pass it off to Tegan, and I believe Yar and Ethan are also on.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump on. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate it. And hello, everybody out there. My name is Tegan Trammell. I work with the great city of Sugar Land, Texas. And as Angela said, Yar and I are going to be stepping in as the new co-chairs for our now Industry Relations Committee. Shout out to Ethan Benettan, who is our fearless leader for Phase 2. He led us through Phase 2 when we were known as the AI Registry Committee. So we're not a new committee, just have some new goals. And so we needed a new name to fit those goals. And also shout out to Angela and Albert for being great committee facilitators. We really appreciate it. Couldn't do anything without you all. But our Industry Relations Committee is scheduled at the moment to meet about 2 times per month. So our first meeting of the month is going to be what we call a vendor office hours. This is just an opportunity for vendors to come and ask us questions as a committee, and specifically questions about their AI fact sheets. If you're new to the coalition and you don't know what a fact sheet is, it's basically just a document we ask all of our vendors to fill out. It just gives them an opportunity to give us the 411 on their AI solutions. Talks about all this awesome things that they're doing with their AI solutions, like an overview of their product, how they mitigate risk, how they mitigate bias, and all the other important things that we as agencies would like to know. And then we take those AI fact sheets and we put them into our AI registry, which we have a public and a private registry. And then moving on to the second meeting of the month, this is going to be more agency focused. So during these meetings, we're going to actually work towards meeting our objectives that we have outlined for Phase 3 as a committee. And just so everybody knows, we do have 2 objectives for this phase. First, we're going to focus on making our AI registry more valuable and useful to coalition agencies. So as I just said, we have an awesome registry full of AI fact sheets available, but we do want to spend more time making sure that you all as coalition members are actively using those, and we want to make sure that they're as useful as humanly possible. And then our second objective is going to be defining the relationship the coalition wants to have with our vendor community. And I'm happy to say we're hitting the ground running with this objective. As you can see, our vendor office hours this Friday, that is May 2nd at 1 p.m. Central Time. I believe that's 11 a.m. Pacific Time, but don't hold me to that. We're actually having our vendor office hours, and we're going to be asking for your feedback, no matter if you're an agency or a vendor, for how you would like the coalition's relationship with vendors to look like over this next phase. And YAR's been actively working to create a survey that we're going to be giving out on Friday. We'd love to have as many of you all there as possible, but if you're not able to come on Friday, you can reach out to any of the emails that you see on the screen, and we can get you that survey ASAP. So with that, I'll stop blabbering. If anybody else, Yar, Ethan, if you want to hop in, talk about anything I missed, but if not, we can jump over to the next committee.
Awesome.
I
Thanks,
don't
Tegan.
mind adding one late breaking news. Thank you so much, Tegan. This is Ethan. And late breaking news that folks might want to be aware of is as we're moving forward on building that next gen registry that Tegan was talking about, we are going to be listening to committee members. And of course, like the other committees, this is open. You're welcome to come and join our committee meeting on May 16th, where we'll be doing some information gathering around the requirements that you want to see in the next generation of the registry. So put on your calendar to maybe come to that if it isn't already, if you're interested in the future of the registry.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. Then I think last but not least, I'm going to pass it off to Arti for the Data Governance Committee.
Thanks, Angela. Hi, everyone. I'm Arti Tangri. I manage the data governance at City of San Jose. And thanks to everyone who attended the very first meeting we had earlier this month. Interesting conversations. There's a lot of work that can be done around data governance, but we decided to really have 2 streams of work to really focus in on certain areas. So the first one, it was around data governance to really focus on more of the internal data management, data sharing, data capacity building, and the focus around this would be more developing that data strategy. A few of the cities have already shared what data governance policies they have, data strategy that they have in place. So we'll be reviewing that. But the goal really is that we already have these in place, but not everything really helps us make our data AI ready. How can we shape the existing strategies that other agencies have shared to add more of the components that make the data AI ready, and also use that as a ground for other agencies who don't have a strategy in place to leverage the work that has already been done, and we'll build on that to take it from there. Next meeting, we plan to have the work that San Jose is doing to review that based on the data strategy. We have data governance structure that we've been trying to put together. It's a work in progress, but we can start with that and see what works for this committee and shape it from there. There's a lot of interest in data sharing agreements. This is more focused on the external aspect of data sharing with the interagencies data sharing. So initial goal is to build a template, basing it off of the Texas template that we've been talking about for a while. So next meeting will be focusing on live editing the data sharing agreement template and taking into considerations how do we take into account the sensitive data that would come in through these templates? How do we factor that in? All the different agencies would have different laws that apply depending on where they're located. How do we factor those in? And then what are some of the common best practices that we want to make sure we account for data handling as we work through these data sharing agreement templates? So that's what we have in the plans. More to come, but that's it for now. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Arti. And I believe that concludes our committee updates. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to you, Albert.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. And I think that just about does it on our slides here. That's all we got, folks. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really excited for what is developing. Again, we've dropped those links and we'll share them out after the meeting around the registration for the summit, and for filling out for the joint procurement, the RFP that we're looking at here. Fill those out. It takes 2 minutes on that form. And looking forward to seeing y'all in our committee meetings where we get all of this work done. So take care and have a great West Year Wednesday.
Thank you.